Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into Awesome Sunday Show. Before we get started, we'd like to tell you where you can find us.
You can find all of our episodes, including new content like blogs and guest blogs, on our newly launched website, awesomesundayshow.com.
Woohoo!
Our podcast is also available on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. You can find all those links also on awesomesundayshow.com.
You can also follow us on our social media accounts, twitter.com/awesomesunshow, facebook.com/awesomesundayshow, and instagram.com/awesomesundayshow.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hey everybody, welcome to Awesome Sunday Show. Connor here.
And Pat as well.
Pat, how you doing on this Sunday?
I'm doing all right. How was your little trip?
It was a nice trip to Baltimore. Yeah, it was my sister's boyfriend's surprise 30th birthday. He was surprised.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good, because most surprise parties I go to, the person's not surprised.
yeah. I had one surprise party. I was 15. So I want one when I'm 30. I want one every 15 years.
Every 15 years?
Yeah.
I have a good story about Justin and a surprise party, but I'll
Let's do
tell
it.
that off air because it's funny. He might get embarrassed.
Ah.
And he's sitting right on the couch.
How about you tell this one about the eco surprise? That wasn't a surprise. Because that's
For
yours.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, because then Tino will be like, well, you ruined mine, even though he already knew. So
All right.
forget it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, no good stories for you guys. Sorry.
sorry. Whatever. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the new Justice League trailer that just dropped yesterday. And before we do that, though, Connor, what time is it?
It's time to mention our sponsors.
Yes. Today's episode is brought to you by Gamefly, as usual, because they're great. For you Awesome Sunday Show listeners, Gamefly is offering a premium free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. All you have to do is go to gameflyoffer.com/awesome. And why should you sign up for Gamefly, Connor? I'm glad you asked. Because they have over 8,000 new releases and classics available to rent for Xbox One, 360, PS4, older generations, your handhelds, such as 3DS. They're going to have Switch games as they're rolling out. They offer 1 and 2 disc plans. 1 disc plan for $15.95 a month, 2 disc plan for $22.95 a month. So for that money, you can play as many video games in a month as you want. All you have to do is send them back. Not only that, but they have streaming options on compatible HDMI TVs. As long as you got that and a good Wi-Fi connection, you can play on your TV without a console. Pretty great.
That is actually pretty dope.
Games are shipped directly to you, and they include a pre-addressed envelope for easy returns, no contracts, cancel anytime. And not only can you get games, but you can get movies with that along with your membership for no extra costs. Wonderful deal.
That is a great deal.
And listen, you're going to save a bunch of money. Instead of buying 2 to 3 games a year for $60 a pop, you just spend the $15 or $22.95 a month, and you can play as many games that month as you want. Say you beat a game in a day, send it back. Next day, a couple days, very quickly you get a new game. Hate the game, send it back. You can even buy, if you like a game so much, you can even buy it for a discounted rate. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I looked at some, my girlfriend signed up for this, and the one game I took out, it's a half price of what you would get for a new one, and the condition is excellent.
Yeah.
Great deal. Like I mentioned, their selection over 8,000 games and movies, and they always get the new releases. And if you sign up for a new release, you put that in your queue, you get it the day it comes out. Wonderful deal. And again, for our listeners, you get a free premium 30-day trial, and all you have to do is go to gameflyoffer.com/awesome. Again, that's gameflyoffer.com/awesome. Thank you, Gamefly, for sponsoring today.
This show is also brought to you by BarkBox. Shut up, Damien. You can get 1 free extra month of BarkBox at www.getbarkbox.com/awesome. Some benefits of BarkBox, Pat. Would you like to hear them?
I would.
Every month, BarkBox Paws pick the best all-natural treats and innovative toys to match a dog's unique needs, including their allergies and heavy chewer preferences, lighter chewer preferences. All edibles are made in the U.S. and Canada, and 100% of the products are tested on their own animals. And no animals are harmed as well. It's a great way to try a variety of treats for your dog. Each monthly box is themed, whether it's a country fair, bark ball, Brooklyn hipster, etc., etc. They're always going to think of something new or bring back some classics. There's new and unique toys that continue to keep the dogs engaged and interested. And when dogs are engaged and interested, that also makes a happy dog. And their Scout's Honor, if your dog does not like something in the box, they'll send you something they'll love for free because they're all about the dog's happiness. And when the dog falls in love with something within the box, you can easily find it again at barkshop.com or by the app or just by texting them. So if the dog loves the toy so much and it's disappointed that you're getting rid of the toy, just buy it. No problem. So, folks, if you want to make your dog fall in love with you or make your dog happy, remember, go to www.getbarkbox.com/awesome to get your free month of BarkBox with either a 6 or 12-month subscription. Remember, that is www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
Great. Thank you, BarkBox, for sponsoring this episode. So let's get into today's topic, the newest Justice League trailer. Which is technically their first official trailer because the one they showed at Comic-Con was Comic-Con footage.
Yeah, but how much is that going to be in the movie?
True, but a lot of that was still in today's or yesterday's trailer.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. I mean, it starts off with this really far, wide shot of a man, a horse, and a fire on this ice mountain. And I thought that for a second that looked like shit. Personally, I thought it looked like crap. But then we see, unsurprisingly, that it's Bruce Wayne and he's going to the fishing village that Aquaman frequents. And, I don't know why he chose to go on a horse and camped out on a frozen mountain when he could have gotten there a million other ways with all his resources and definitely has a boat, has a plane, really could have gotten there anyway, but chose to horse.
He knows someone that
horse.
flies.
Yeah, exactly.
Not flies a plane, like can fly.
Yeah, Wonder Woman could have dropped him off,
or like the Flash could have
unless he didn't know the Flash yet.
That's true.
But
he knows Wonder Woman.
Listen, he's a billionaire. He could have gotten there any other way.
But let me get on a horse.
So it's just a waste of time.
You want to know why I think they did that? And
why?
This is a huge stretch because the setting is completely different. But remember in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, he rides the horse and he has the gun and it's really iconic because it's something Batman normally doesn't do, but it fits in the situation. I think they're trying to maybe give a little nod, possibly Batman's riding a horse. Oh my God, remember that? But it's just the wrong setting
because they didn't do that enough in Batman vs Superman.
Right, exactly. It's bringing back the problems again. But I don't know. It's kind of those things I can go back and forth on. I think it's cool that he's riding a horse. I really do. But at the same time, you're right.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense
because it's a waste of time, and he's putting himself in harsh conditions for no reason.
And if the trailer says, further on, it's the enemy's already here. Wouldn't you want to get the people as fast as possible?
Yeah, seriously. Whatever. Speaking of Aquaman, he was my favorite part of the trailer. Aside from when Barry asked Bruce what his superpower was, and he goes, "I'm rich." Which is Bruce's superpower.
But
it's true.
But he would never say that.
Right. But
that's
this cocky Bruce would.
That's like a Joel Schumacher line.
Yeah.
The back credit card.
I mean, in the Justice League Dark animated movie, he kind of went around, did that a little bit, except his response was, "I have a butler," for how he gets all the shit done.
But that's acknowledging a character.
Yeah. I mean, he's acknowledging what fans say, really, that his superpower is being rich.
But the fans say that.
Yeah,
Batman doesn't say that.
He's giving a nod.
Batman's much more humble than that.
They're giving him a nod.
He would say that to Superman, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
But maybe he said it because it seemed like Barry was coming across as a wise ass. "Oh, you have powers? I have powers. What's your power?"
Not a good trailer. Not a good scene to put in a trailer. Then, if it's within, it could be within. We can watch the movie and it can be within context.
It's probably better in context.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aquaman was my favorite part of this trailer.
Yes.
Personally, from the very get-go when he saves that dude on the rock and he throws him into the bar and takes a bottle of looked like Sailor Jerry or Captain Morgan, some bottle of rum. It looked like. It goes, it's on him while the guy's completely unconscious. And like, just I think first of all, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
Him in his full suit looks really, really sick. And when he was standing on the Batmobile on the drive-in, he's just like, all right, like having fun with that. He makes fun of Batman. He goes, just like a bat. I get it. Sick, like kind of making fun of him.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's after he meets, like how long after he meets Bruce, or he's just making a joke against him. And when he throws that his trident, which actually has 5 prongs instead of 3, so it's not really much of a trident, I guess. But when
Like
he
a-
throws it into those
trident?
parademons, and it just like spikes both of them, and he threw it hard, so like they're zooming into the ship or the mountain or whatever they were in. I don't know. I think he's just like,
something black.
yeah, he was just a badass in it.
Because that was like the only color in this trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's another big thing which has happened. I mean, Man of Steel is an exception because there were color in that.
But they were
but they were-
shades of color.
Yeah, they were really like toned down.
It was red, but it was like it's like velvet red.
Yeah, like
You know.
heavy filter on it. But yeah, because when you were rewatching the trailer a couple of minutes ago, you're like, why is it so dark? But that's how Batman vs Superman, very dark color palette.
Yeah.
Same with Suicide Squad. It's just like very, very dark. There's like no color to it.
It's
no.
weird. And that's
Even the Wonder Woman trailer, parts of it were still very dark, even though her costume in it is like bright red,
Yeah.
blue, and gold.
And just to deter for a little bit, I feel like that's been the huge problem with the DCEU is that they don't have a sense of identity because they have these movies that should be like kind of are ridiculous, like
Yeah.
they really are, but they don't really acknowledge that it is ridiculous. They try to show you that it's not, and they hide that with whatever filter they're using
Yeah.
for darker colors. Like look, it's dark and it's
And,
adult,
like,
but
people-
meanwhile, like it doesn't feel adult.
Right. People complain about the Marvel movies, how like their colors are off. Their color palette is kind of dull, and there's not really anything popping too much. Especially early on, it kind of was like that, I guess.
A little bit.
But that's what DC is doing, except they're doing it dark. And I don't know if they're doing it, just to symbolize our universe is dark. We're making it dark and gritty or whatever. But all of Zack Snyder's movies are shot in that dark tone.
Yeah.
Like dark, really dark colors, a lot of grays, like dark grays and stuff, like hazy filters, So I think
Dawn of the Dead was his most colorful movie.
yeah, and so it's a little weird, and I want to see something different, a little bit.
I want to see a
I wanna see
colorful
more
Justice
colors.
League movie.
Yeah, because their costumes, I mean, Superman, Flash, and Wonder Woman, and even Cyborg has that huge glowing light in his chest. They should be brighter, not
Yeah,
dimmed.
and like I get it. Like Aquaman's costume is like silly looking, like on live action probably, but like he is like the most drastic. As much as I think he looks really cool, but
Biggest change.
biggest change, and like he's like this was the problem. And again, like the problem with Batman vs Superman is that everyone was fucking Batman, but if he was like a murderous like Charles Manson character instead, and like that looks like the issue again with Justice League is that like everyone's just kind of like Batman, like brooding, dark, and like angsty, like
Oh, well, I mean, except for Barry, it seems. in
except
the
for
few
him, but he's
clips.
also all red. But at the same time, like and that's the problem I already have with the trailer was that. Like, or the problem I already mentioned before with the DCEU is the same problem I have with the trailer is that, you have someone who's a fun character and a enjoyable character to latch onto, like Barry on Flash, but yet he's in a scene where the filter is like something you would see out of like, a modern Romero zombie movie. Like
Yeah.
it's just dark and like it's
I mean,
not visually
the-
interesting at all.
The lightest scene he was in, like in terms of like light that was actually in it, was when he's visiting his dad in prison. The prison was well lit compared to like the other scenes.
Yeah.
Which is Henry Allen, of course, Barry's dad, who is in prison for the murder of Barry's mom, Nora, which he didn't commit, we know, but all evidence at the time pointed to him. Just like which I think it has been his background since Rebirth, like early Rebirth, I think.
Okay.
I know it wasn't when Barry first came around, back in the golden age. So it is something newer, but they took that
I mean, Silver Age.
Silver Age, whatever, yeah. But they took that for the animated movies, and then obviously the Flash TV show. Speaking of the Flash, we see him running more. We see him more, we do see him run, actually. And he's got, and it looks better. I mean, it's a huge budget movie, like $250 million budget movie. But it does look, the way he's running looks better than when they show Grant Gustin on the TV show in motion, because then it's like you can tell like he's just slowly kind of walking in a green studio, and they're just showing him in the lightning. And this, but again, it's because of the massive budget difference to it.
Yeah.
But I like the way it looked, and his lightning color is different from not just the TV show, but also the comics.
Right. Yeah.
Because
it's actual lightning.
Yeah, it's actual lightning. It's like a whitish, bluish. How
it's what
lightning
you would see
looks.
like lightning in a flash look like.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. When you see lightning strike, that's what it looks
Does that
like.
bother you at all, though?
You know what? No, it doesn't really bother me.
I don't
It's
really
just something
care.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, his lightning is yellow, and then the same
but
thing
gold
with
is
the
a
show.
bright color, and
Yeah,
this
well,
looks
I mean,
darker.
it is. It's still a bright because it's a flash.
yeah, but
But I don't mind it because it looks more like electricity, and when we see him running, in this, and then in the email part of Batman vs Superman, we see all like electronics around him. All the lights just blow out, and the fuses blow out and whatever. So
that'd
it really
be annoying
makes it.
if every time he runs that happens.
Well, so far every time we've seen him in the around technology
But
like
then
that,
at the
it
same
happened.
time, that's going to be annoying if he runs around technology and doesn't break them, because the first 2 times we saw him run,
Yeah.
there was like shit going on.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
are you just trying to make him look cool or
Right.
something?
And then it really shows off like the electricity to the Speed Force, or his little lightning. Yeah, and then we see him back in Barry's lair, which was in the Comic-Con footage, except instead of saying, they changed the dialogue that they show in it. When Bruce throws the Batarang, he goes, "You're the Batman," which by now Bruce apparently has been Batman for like 20-something years. Why wouldn't you just call him Batman by now? I think he's instead of the Batman.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, in the Comic-Con footage, it goes, Bruce asks him, he says, "I'm putting together a team," and Barry says, "Yes, I don't have any friends," or whatever. So they changed it up, made it a little more serious than that. Don't know if which one is gonna be in the final movie. But otherwise, that scene was the same. Getting back to the parademons, to me, they look like the sludge monsters from Suicide Squad, just with glowing eyes.
Yeah,
Right? It's like
Yeah,
they're
again,
kind of just reusing it.
but also too, like, I hate this. This is like, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but like, the parademons seem like they don't fly off the wall like the characters do, and
Yeah.
like, that's the one thing, like, especially in Suicide Squad, is that like I felt like the enemies blended in with the environment. Like, you don't want to have like a putty patrol where like they're all gray, and then if the Power Rangers are fighting somewhere darker, you don't really see them blend off or anything like that. Thankfully, they usually shot in bright areas, and
Yeah.
because I don't know where that show takes place, maybe California or something like that, but it's always bright and sunny out, so you
Yeah.
don't really have that problem. But then like when you have a movie where literally like you don't even see the fucking sun in the trailer, like. And then you have enemies that are dark and gray, and then I'm like, they blend in with the environment. Like, that's not good visually.
Yeah,
Because,
actually, and there's several times they're fighting in this dark well, and there's multiple scenes where it looks like they're either fighting on, I don't know if it's whether it's Apocalypse or it's just an area where the parademons descended just turned to like sludge and black, or they're fighting on one of a New Genesis or New Gods ship,
yeah,
which is all black, like dark black, like the same color as they are. So you're going to have to look for like their eyes sometimes to see, because they're going to blend in, which is annoying. If you look at the animated movie Justice League War, which I believe is still on Netflix, and I recommend,
very
great
good.
movie. They're much bigger in stature, and then their skin is gray, but then they have like gold armor with some red and blue tints to it,
Yeah,
like gems or whatever in it. But this, like, they're literally just like the sludge monsters from Suicide Squad with glowing eyes. Like, that's the difference.
yeah. It's just like
Oh, and they have wings.
yeah, they have wings, but that just shows their lack of originality that like we've seen so far with all these movies. they are either base way too much or take too much liberty, and like in certain areas. And like I understand it's a fine line to
Yeah.
cross, and it's and it's hard to avoid a lot of the times, but. They're just taking so much from so many different stories and just throwing it together. And
Yeah, and you know what? As far as their design goes, I don't mind them changing that at all. If you want to change it, that's perfectly fine. That's your prerogative. But it's just make them look different from the villains you just or minions you just used.
But even if they didn't, like, have an environment where you can see them clear.
Oh yeah, or
do something either or, like, because I will say this, and this is a compliment towards them, is that they do at least look like parademons. Like, I see that, and like if you were to show me, like, that's the only, if you're like, hey, listen, I can only show you one frame of a trailer, and this like from this trailer, and then you showed me that frame of the parademon, I would know that's a parademon right away.
Yeah.
So I will say that
because
like,
you do know that it's going to be the movie anyway.
Yeah, I knew that already, but I feel like if I knew less than I did now, I would have to absolutely know nothing.
Yeah. Well, and you wouldn't have not seen Batman vs Superman
Right.
because they're in his nightmare scene, whether it's a nightmare or premonition.
But I'm
either
just
one.
saying, comparing just to what the parademons have been designed for in the
Yeah.
past, I would at least be able to guess saying that's probably a parademon.
Right.
So I will give them that. It's just really the way they're representing them. It's the way that they're showing them off. It's the environment that they're showing them off is just not engaging, and like that's sad. And like a trailer should get you hyped. I've seen great trailers for bad movies and gone to see those bad movies. And
well, that's like the first Batman
'Cause the
vs
trailer got
Superman
me hyped.
trailer got us hyped. Like that was an amazing trailer.
but now looking back, we see the problems with that trailer.
yeah, and then
I didn't at the time. I was really hyped.
The second or third Suicide Squad trailer were awesome. They got me hyped for it.
The last one I remember
was great.
Fucking awesome.
The Prometheus trailer going back, 5 years, however long ago it was. That trailer was phenomenal.
That's one of the best trailers. That was one of the best trailers of that year.
Yeah, for sure. I still think that was an amazing trailer. So yeah, it didn't really set anything apart. It didn't really show any differences compared to the trailers that they've released previously. Some other things to mention. We see mother boxes again. There's 3 mother boxes on Earth, and they will be, at one time we're in control of the Atlanteans, the Amazons, and the humans. And when we see, compared to the Comic-Con trailer, we see what looks like medieval knights bearing it. And the Atlanteans, I think they've had it for a while because it has to do, because we're going to see, I think it's Willem Dafoe is playing like an old Atlantean king, so it's probably going to be, centuries prior to this. And the Amazons, they're more or less eternal, so they could have had it for centuries or thousands of years or, however long. And then the humans one we see, the human one ends up attaching itself to Cyborg. But that's something I want to point out with that is we see Silas Stone, which is Victor Stone, a.k.a. Cyborg's dad, and he has a mother box in his closet, and there's a parademon behind him. But it doesn't make sense because in Batman vs. Superman, in the email scene where they're showing clips of like the cameos for the Justice League, Victor Stone already has the mother box attached to him. So if there's only supposed to be 3 mother boxes, either there's a 4th one, or that scene takes place before Batman vs. Superman, and parademons were already on Earth, or they just contradicted the timeline in itself.
I feel like there might be an explanation within the movie because that's a big.
It's an oversight.
It's an oversight.
Yeah.
It's a really big oversight. Like one that could only really be accomplished within the Universal Monster universe, Universal Universe. When like Frankenstein like dies in a movie where he's like in mud and then like he wakes up in ice the next movie, shit like that. But like that would be like that level of oversight.
Yeah,
that's why I'm comparing. That's why I bring those 2 movies up, and I feel like that won't happen, especially in today's day and age.
But it does pose a problem to the continuity if that is the problem. Or it is, because there's going to be flashbacks to the other Justice League members, like beginnings. Hopefully they don't spend too long on them because we're getting the solo movies and, there's a lot to accomplish in the Justice League itself.
Right.
So if it is a flashback, that means parademons had already been on Earth for however long that takes, in the past.
Right.
But another thing I noticed between those two things, because after I noticed that, I rewatched the clip from Batman vs Superman, and the mother boxes are two different designs.
Really?
The one in Batman vs Superman is they're two different designs. So that's another thing I noticed. So I don't know, what the thing is, because they're going with Cyborg's New 52 origin, which is his body. His techno-organic body is the result of a mother box attaching to to himself.
Which actually, that's a cool.
I think
it's
it's
a cool
a very cool
idea.
concept.
I didn't mind. I think I don't know if that pissed people off the New 52 or not. To be quite frank, some people, the Cyborg fans, might have hated that origin, but personally, I liked it a lot.
I think it's cooler than the original one.
And I think it gives Cyborg it gives people a deeper understanding why Cyborg would even be in the Justice League.
Right.
And because there's already an automatic connection between a villain and a hero, besides, I just want to take over the world. You know?
Not to mention, and it brings up, because he is the mother box, and Steppenwolf is coming for the mother boxes. It's like with Vision and his Infinity Stone in his head. Like, he is, or part of him contains, or is made up of, what Steppenwolf is coming from and what Thanos is coming for. So if they are, in order to succeed, Cyborg is literally, aside from just fighting for the life of Earth and saving Earth, he's also fighting for his life, because if he takes the mother box, if the mother box is removed from him, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Because the only parts of his original body that are still around is half his face,
his brain,
like his pectoral area, his neck, and then like a little bit of one of his shoulders.
Yeah.
And maybe one arm, but even that gets fully wrapped in the mother box material.
What about his third arm?
It's gone. Maybe. We don't see it. I mean, he's naked. The mother box doesn't put on clothes. It's just
true.
Is how it is.
It sucks, man.
And that torso was completely gone, from the pecs down.
Sorry about that.
So it puts Cyborg in even more dire straits.
Yeah.
And
he obviously doesn't want to fucking die.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't want the world to be destroyed. So, he's got multiple things going against him.
That if they did that right in the movie, that would be a huge positive towards it.
I
Even
agree.
If, the movie cannot be that good, but if they were to do that arc of Cyborg right and explore that characterization even at a decent level, I would say that would be not save the movie, but like
it's a really good accomplishment.
It would make it at least much interesting than Batman vs Superman was, because they had some sort of character drama going on, whether it's within himself or with other people, and there's complexity there.
Right, and within him, he is horrified with himself. At least in this new origin, and even in the old origin,
the old origin too. Yeah,
he is disgusted by himself. He hates it. Like, he would rather be dead when he first is, realizes it comes to consciousness with this on his body.
I think it was the original comic. He it might have been a later one too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. I think he goes up to his dad and he's like, "Why'd you do this to me?"
Well, even in the Justice League War animated movie, which the plot is very similar to this, although the way that the Justice League comes together is different. He was disgusted himself too. He's horrified. Well, yeah, because.
It's Darkseid.
In Justice League War, they came together because the areas they were in attacked. They didn't already previously know each other. Batman and Wonder Woman were not friends. They were all operating in their own areas alone.
But it's still an invasion.
Other than that, it's the same. I mean, there wasn't already two members of a Justice League.
You're also you're comparing an hour and 20-minute movie to possibly a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah, still there are similarities, but even in that, he was very conflicted about whether he even wanted to live like that. And in the trailer, we see him covered in like a hoodie, just hiding his face and everything. So you could tell there's a lot of emotional distress for him with that, which is understandable. 90% of his body got destroyed, and now he's a alien cyborg, really.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we brought up a lot of negatives in this movie.
Well, no, it's not. It's just like the question of the continuity with the mother box, or if there is a fourth one, is could or could not be a problem, or just like a big oversight or just an error. I don't know.
Yeah,
unless that's in the flashback, but then that means the parademons were on Earth longer than what they're going to see in the movie.
Right. That is an issue. But I feel like just move on. Like we said our major complaints. You have your major complaint. I had my major complaint. I think like Batman said. I don't know if I forget if we recorded this or not when I said this. Like Batman saying he's rich as a power.
Yeah.
Like it could be within the context of a joke that's leading up to it that might make it okay and funny. And
Right.
I hope that's the case. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. But then like Batman's way more whatever version of Batman that you most adore, whether he's the version that kills or the version that doesn't kill, Batman's way more humble than that in his own like intimidating way. You know,
Yeah.
He doesn't say, "Well, I'm just rich." That's something he says to Clark Kent jokingly because in the comics and in the TV shows they're usually close friends,
Yeah.
or at least have great respect for each other, but they like to push each other's buttons. But then, but to other heroes, because a lot of heroes look up to him because he's someone without powers, but yet
Right.
he has leadership qualities that are exponential. So him being like, "Well, I'm rich," is like, I feel like a little out of character for me.
I personally liked it. I laughed. Regardless, it doesn't bother me at all.
It's a funny line
Because
because it's what
it's-
fans say.
Well, yeah, because it's true.
It is true.
I mean, obviously, that's not his greatest strength. It just gives him all the tech and stuff he needs. We do see a lot of shots, like I mentioned before, of whether they're on Apocalypse or ship or on Apocalypse itself or what, but we see something that looks like that. We see Batman fighting some parademons on it. We see Aquaman throwing his 5-pronged trident at them on that ship. We see Cyborg, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman land on it. So there's going to be fights on there, but we don't know if it's on Earth and that ship is there, or they get transported via the mother boxes or Steppenwolf or whatever. We also
Steppenwolf.
who is not in the trailer.
Yeah. He was just cast like a few months ago, right?
Yeah. It was well, no, I think it was back.
It was a while. It was a while ago, but it also was not.
But
that
I mean, he's
long
going to
ago.
be. If he looks anything like what was in that deleted scene, it's going to be completely CGI. So,
Yeah.
We don't see Superman obviously because they're going to save the marketing material for him coming back, like for the second or third trailer, or closer to the movie. Even though
Like what's the deal with Spider-Man and Civil
even
War.
though everyone and their mother knows that he's in the movie because it's
Set
been
photos.
said
Yeah.
a billion times. Like, well, it was already confirmed like before Batman vs Superman even came out. They're like, Henry Cavill's going to be in Justice League.
Yeah, and I feel like I hope they don't do that with this movie, is like reveal too much, because that marketing for the movies were awful. The marketing for Suicide Squad was good.
Mm-hmm.
The marketing for Batman for Superman was awful because I knew almost everything going into the
Well,
movie.
because that second trailer.
That second trailer revealed
Yeah.
so much, and like the only thing it didn't reveal was the very end, which was so anticlimactic to begin with.
And it took away like the seriousness and the gravity of Superman dying was taken away because they already said months before that he was going to be in Justice League.
And even if they never said anything and we didn't know he was in Justice League, you killed off Superman in the second movie. It wasn't earned, and by any stretch of the imagination.
It didn't have the same impact it would have had they done it in like Man of Steel 2.
It didn't make me think at all that like Superman was gone for the rest of the series. Like how like Logan is. Like Logan, it was like it's been 17 fucking years, that he's been playing that role.
Yeah.
And like he said on like Fallon, Kimmel, I forget
every interview.
Almost any interview is like, this is my last one. Like this is it. Like I'm done. And spoilers, major should I say the spoilers for Logan? No. But anyway, we know it's his last movie. So whether you've seen the movie or not, he said that already.
Right.
So like that death wasn't earned. It wasn't warranted. I didn't feel like
impact. There was no impact to it because it was like they should have saved it for either Justice League 2 or Man of Steel 2 or some other, Batman vs Superman 2 or whatever, something later down the line.
But then you can also argue too, and
then it would have had more gravity.
Yeah, you can also argue too that people, even if he did die, people knew he would come back because of the death and return of Superman.
Yeah, but to a general audience, especially the younger kids, they don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
but it's true. Just it was done too early, and it was just one of like 5 different stories they crammed into the movie.
That kind of hurts the trailer and the hype for it too.
It because you want to surprise people, and it's not surprising.
by any
now.
means. No.
There's no surprise to it. They're just holding off showing him in the
And
marketing.
face it, if you saw Batman vs Superman, you're going to see Justice League, whether you hated Batman vs Superman or
Yeah.
not. So, and also the people that didn't see it,
They're
are
still going to see Justice League.
you think they're still going to see Justice League? Hoffman
'Cause
never
people-
saw Batman vs
Yeah,
Superman.
but it's Justice League. People are going to see it. You know, like regardless.
Yeah.
We see the Nightcrawler vehicle in action, which is just this massive tank that can climb walls and shit, which looks pretty cool. We see Batman in his new bat suit with like the more heavily armored one with the goggles or whatever they are on.
Batman wearing goggles is funny.
Cyborg goes in full Iron Man sequence when he's flying up into the atmosphere and his face gets covered by the metal, and it's like when Tony Stark mask flips on.
Yeah, it's like a mix between
And then-
Ultron and Iron Man.
Yeah,
like, it
and
looks
then
like a little
then
bit.
he flies through the clouds. Like it was an Iron Man scene. Like
Yeah.
that clip was an Iron Man clip.
Again, pointing back to the lack of originality.
Yeah. We see J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, and he says it's nice to see him playing well with others once again, which is referencing to the Robins and or Nightwing.
Right.
If Nightwing is established, even though they're doing a Nightwing movie, but we know one Robin died, so he did have previous Robins. We see Amber Heard as Mira, and a couple no-name Atlanteans behind that. Get a little glimpse of Amy Adams as Lois Lane in here. Like I said, no Superman, no Steppenwolf, no Lantern,
No Martian Manhunter.
and no Martian Manhunter. But
Not that I expected him.
since before Batman vs Superman, they started talking about Justice League. The tagline has been "Unite the Seven," and we have only seen 5 heroes in the trailers.
The Seven Seas.
Well, but why would it be the 7 Seas? Because Aquaman rules them, and it would not have effect on the Parademons, or the war that they're going into. And there's only 6 heroes confirmed because we know Superman's in it, so that's 6. They're missing a 7th one. There's no Green Lantern announced unless they're to cast somebody and he's going to be
Unless he's the surprise.
show up at the last second.
Yeah.
But
This
I
is
want
this
I don't
is
want him to be like 2 seconds in, like 2 seconds left in the movie.
That would be a pro of the movie, I think. I think that would work in the movie's benefit and kind of not. I don't want to say redeem, but it would make me. It'd make me happy if they did something where it felt warranted that there was a character there, so that we didn't know about. So
Well, yeah, I mean,
as long as it fit within the movie, fine.
I just don't want him to show up with 2 seconds left in the movie and be like, hey.
Yeah, like Sonic did at the end of the Subspace Emissary in Smash Brothers Brawl. Did you play that one?
I don't know. But, because Green Lantern has been a founding member of the Justice League.
He's essential.
Yeah.
He's the reason.
And it's usually Hal Jordan, and then before.
You need a Green Lantern
And in the Justice Society, it was Alan Scott.
Right. You need a Green Lantern because, and not, I mean, even in the Silver Age and on, because Green Lantern is kind of like their go-to or their vessel when it comes to like intergalactic issues or missions,
Exactly.
or
And-
like relationships, because he's part of the Green Lantern Corps, which is the universal, the police of the universe.
Yeah, and we know that the Green Lantern exists because we're having a Green Lantern movie. And yeah, he is the Green Lantern, whether any of the Green Lanterns from Earth or other ones that are assigned, they're assigned to the sector, which includes Earth.
Right.
So if there's this alien invasion on Earth, obviously Green Lantern's going to get involved. But so far, there's no word of Green Lantern in this movie. But there's been rumors ever since the beginning that he's going to show up in like a post-credit scene or something,
That would be annoying.
which would be annoying.
That would
yeah.
be annoying, and then at least, but then I'm guessing too, like this. If I were to write the movie, this is what I would do. If the only way that I feel like Hal Jordan Green Lantern can work coming at the last minute of the movie is if Abin Sur comes within the movie. If Abin Sur, because since he is he's the guardian, he's the Green Lantern of the sector that Earth is in. It would make sense that
And his
Abin
ring
Sur
gets
would,
passed on to Hal Jordan.
yeah, within the movie, because let's say he dies due to the invasion or something like that,
Right,
trying to
instead
prevent
of
it.
Parallax.
Yeah, right, and like that would actually not be. That would be an origin that I wouldn't mind
No,
them changing.
I think that would be a good substitute for the movie. It would
Yeah.
fit in the context
And
of
it
the
would-
movie without being thrown
And
in.
that would be a great post-credit scene for a Green Lantern because it wouldn't just be at the last minute, like, by the way, don't
Right,
forget Green
right.
Lantern's in this movie. Like, no, it'd be like, oh, no, this is what it was leading up to. And then people who don't know the story very well or just not in the comics and want to see the movie, that is like almost a story within a story to feed them. And it gives you, like, it
Yeah.
makes your movie layered, just like a cake. And I should write this
or an
movie.
onion,
Yeah,
like an
or-
ogre.
Yeah, but cake is more fun to eat than an onion.
No, I just wanted to bring up a Shrek reference, buddy. Yeah, so it's like because there has been a Green Lantern in the foundation and the founding of the Justice League. He is one of the seven, one of the major
Yeah.
seven. Going back to Justice League War, he was one of the founding members. Him and Batman were the first two to team up,
Yeah.
reluctantly, but still, And whether they, I think, putting Abin Sur in it to lead up to Hal Jordan would be a great idea. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a really good idea. I like that. You
the
should
only
be
ones
writing
I
this
think
movie.
of.
Yeah, true. Or if they want to bring in our favorite, Jon Stewart, or even another fan favorite, one who is up there for me in terms of Green Lanterns, Kyle Rayner.
Yeah. I
Even
mean,
though-
Kyle Rayner is a
Well,
fan favorite character.
And I mean, currently he's the White Lantern, but they could always lead up to that but I think they might, if they go with Hal Jordan to begin with,
Mhm.
I think when they want to pass the reins over to Kyle Rayner, they will do what his origin story is, which is he gets his ring when Hal Jordan loses his mind and destroys Coast City. One of the Guardians crafts him a ring and gives it to him to help defend it. Or Jon Stewart, fan favorite. But I think the Abin Sur to fill in, because I want a Green Lantern in this movie. Because
I don't care which one. And honestly, Guy Gardner is a stretch, and like he's like my least favorite one, but I still love him.
See, I like him better when he is a Red Lantern. Although he is pretty
he's
fun
a gnarly
as a Green Lantern.
Isn't he part of the Sinestro Corps at one time too?
They all have been like Well,
during,
him, Hal, and Kyle have used like all the different.
because
rings.
during the Death of Superman, he uses a yellow ring.
yeah,
So
yeah, he
that's-
bounces around,
He does.
but I think he's most known for being Green and Red Lantern.
One thing I love about Green Lantern is that he has every iteration I like,
Mm-hmm.
even the newest one, Simon Baz. And I think there's two others too now.
There are, yeah.
Actually,
Even if they put in-
actually they're kind of annoying because
If they put in Simon Baz, that'd be cool.
that would be cool.
Because he's not really well known outside of.
And his origin story is great.
Yeah, he's not really known outside of comic readers. And then
Actually, his origin story is very relevant to today.
I think he was in that Green Lantern animated show. That was on Cartoon
Possibly.
Network.
I don't think he would make a movie.
It would.
Like he would make it in a movie. If there's any other Green Lantern besides Hal Jordan, it's going to be Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner because they're the two most popular. And I think it would be Jon Stewart. I think because you already have a young character like the Flash in there, so having two young characters would be like, what the hell?
Yeah, so Kyle, I would rule Kyle out.
And
for
Cyborg
this.
is actually very young too, so that's already
Yeah.
two young characters. So I think, and Kyle Rayner he's not like a teenager, but
He's like young 20s.
yeah, Jon Stewart is an experienced Marine. Like that's
Yeah.
someone that can bounce off Batman.
Even Hal Jordan, when he first gets his ring, is like 30 something.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I want a Green Lantern, and obviously we would both want a Martian Manhunter. So do a lot of people,
yeah.
because Martian Manhunter is badass, can be very badass.
But I would rather see him.
Later on,
That's a movie. That's as much as I love Martian Manhunter, as much as I want to see him in live action. Obviously, that's someone I would rather see in a later iteration because he is so powerful, and if they would do him extraordinarily powerful.
they should.
They should, right? And like I feel like for an audience's intake, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, hold on a second! I thought Superman was this thing that they needed." Because of this, if the movie is gonna lead up to how we think, where it's Superman's gonna come in at the end and pretty much be like, "No, I'm the most powerful bitch in here." If Martian Manhunter was there, where does it lead to Superman coming? Because he's that level.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, Martian Manhunter
You
would not
wouldn't
be
need
necessary.
Superman at that
maybe
point.
maybe in like Justice League 2 or in a somebody solo movie they go and
Yeah.
he encounters him.
I like Justice League 2 it makes sense because that's probably going to be Darkseid.
Yeah, I mean,
which
'cause-
would take Superman and Martian Manhunter to defeat.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm telling you, we should start this universe. We should reboot it.
Yeah.
just give it to us. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. There was some other point that I wanted to make. Oh, we see a battle we see the Amazons in a battle of what looks like against the parademons, and we don't know whether it's ancient, Themyscira, because the mother boxes have been on Earth for quite a while. They're not newly on there, or present day, and the parademons have just like devastated this one land.
Mm-hmm.
But that clip really reminded me of a battle in Lord of the Rings, like when they're going into Mordor and fighting the orcs,
Yeah,
which is actually pretty cool.
it's cool, but what does it lack?
Originally, yeah. So I mean, it's still only the first trailer. There's still a lot to come out.
Yeah, and listen, like there are like the trailer's not void of entertainment. Like the action is awesome.
The action is awesome.
Aquaman
I
is
agree.
the best part of it. Despite like how we feel about how he looks.
I think he looks awesome.
He looks awesome, but not within the. I guess it's more of the setting that he's in.
Well, no, because his suit looks awesome, and obviously they were not going to go with his traditional suit,
yeah, just like
which is great.
yeah.
Or with him just like shirtless, even though Jason Momoa could pull it off because he's a ripped dude.
Yeah,
and they
he's
could still
just
add
a
the tattoos,
monster.
and it would show off the tattoos more. Actually, he did have a shirtless scene in there, I think, but
He's gonna have a lot.
yeah. But I think his suit looks awesome. I think his design looks awesome. The tattoos are sick. Him with the long hair, I think, just makes him look more badass.
If you like him so much, why don't you marry him?
Jason Momoa, I'd like to have a beer with that dude. And it's gonna give Aquaman respect. It's gonna gain Aquaman the respect he deserves.
because he got
Yeah.
his respect back in the comics. That all right. So I'm sorry, but the DC comics have come back from a bad point.
Agree.
And-
And you know what? DC comics are better than Marvel are right now.
right now. But
Yeah,
I
right
think
now.
Marvel's due for a comeback soon. But or at least I want them to come back soon.
Yeah.
But DC Comics, especially with Rebirth, like a lot of characters that were stupid and corny are badass and funny now, and they did that. They brought that back, and like I have a lot more. I have more respect for certain heroes I didn't have respect for more than ones I would have over for the most part.
Right.
If it was still the way it was. And like these movies are like retroactively like making me be like, oh God, no,
Yeah.
that sucks about them. you
Yeah,
know?
see, I think that the reason they chose this design for Aquaman, aside from looking cool and drawing people in and capitalizing on Jason Momoa's popularity from Game of Thrones, and to honor his like Samoan heritage,
He
actually,
hasn't been on for like 5 years.
yeah, he was in the first season.
real
Well,
quick
and then
to
he just
capitalization.
He's still a very popular dude.
Yeah.
And like he's gonna be Khal Drogo in water, as Aquaman, but like people are gonna be like, oh wow, Aquaman really isn't like a little pussy who just talks to fish.
Right.
He's actually a badass, which he is. Aquaman's a badass.
And like, but here's the thing though too is like I hope he does talk to fish, and like,
I think that he will,
Yeah.
whether in this movie or I mean definitely the Aquaman movie.
and also too like. When people always think of Aquaman talking to fish, like he's always like, "Oh, I'll talk to like a tuna," like or like, "I'll talk to like he talking to like a shark is like the coolest thing he's ever done."
yeah,
Like,
he can control fucking sharks, dude.
yeah, like but no, like yeah, sharks or like, dude, imagine like there's a scene where he has just a bunch of Portuguese men of war,
Yeah.
and like they all just like sit there, but then like when they're trying to swim, they're just like slowly
Right,
getting,
and
like,
not
poisoned
only
and
that,
shit.
but there are other sea creatures that are around Atlantis and like in the trenches and stuff.
Yeah.
Which in the Justice League animated movie Throne of Atlantis, you do see some of that.
Mhm.
Yes, but I'm glad. I really enjoy the way Aquaman looks. I'm stoked on Jason Momoa. I think it's really going to bring newfound respect from like a general audience to Aquaman.
whether the movie succeeds or not.
Right, because he can be, one of the shining spots, and then, which would be good because it'll give more hype to the Aquaman movie that's supposed to come out next year, directed by James Wan, which I am hyped for because, if depending on how Warner Brothers and DC, how hands-on in a negative way they are, but like James Wan is a great director.
James Wan is like Warner Brothers like little like firecracker right now.
Yeah.
Two real successful horror movies, as successful. The Fast and the Furious is Warner Brothers, right?
I think it's Universal. I don't know for sure.
But actually, you're right. I think that is Universal.
Yeah,
but still,
but
he's
he
shown that
did-
he can make good, successful movies.
Well, yeah, I mean, he created the Insidious franchise,
which makes money.
which makes money. The first one was great. The two Conjuring movies, which were both great, both made a lot of money. He kickstarted Saw,
Which is
that
a
huge Saw
profitable
franchise, which made a shit ton of money and was not high budget or anything.
Mhm. He hasn't really had a bomb yet. Dead Silence, I think, was a bomb.
Well, I don't even know if that was released in theaters.
No, it was.
It was.
Yeah,
Oh, well, then
it was,
yeah,
I saw it in
probably.
theaters.
At
At least my theaters. I don't know. It might have
Yeah.
been in there for like a weekend.
Yeah,
That movie kind of sucked.
But either way, he has a really good track record.
Very good track record.
He's a smart mind. He knows how to pull off different styles into one. He knows how to do good action. He knows how to really build an environment and a world.
Exactly. He's very good at that. Sometimes his characters can be a little flat and one-dimensional, but well, sometimes they can be complex. Like Ed and Lorraine Warren were actually not one-dimensional at all within the Conjuring movies,
Right.
which was definitely an improvement from his past films. But you're absolutely right. You hit the nail right on the head when it comes to creating a world and a setting. His environments are always engaging and interesting. You have to have that talent when it comes to making horror movies.
Yeah,
And I think that's
and it's going to be really good for creating this mystical city of Atlantis.
right. I agree. But again, going back to the lack of color within the movie, is that his movies tend to be very dark looking, which is great for a horror film. Great for a horror film.
It might fit though in underwater.
Will it?
It might.
Yeah.
It depends.
I don't want to look like Little Mermaid, but
Yeah, no. I mean, it depends
I'll
on how.
like
It depends really, like
I don't
on
want my
how
coral reef to be like gray,
how
even though
the-
they are gray right now.
the palace
in real
looks.
life.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, Patrick Wilson, who has been in several James Bond movies, is playing Ocean Master, which is going to be great. Patrick Wilson's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think definitely the action was definitely a great like the best part of the trailer and Aquaman.
Yeah.
Loved seeing J.K. Simmons in it. Really, as disappointed I am as he's not going to be J. Jonah Jameson, I think he's going to be a great Commissioner Gordon.
It's a good choice.
And hopefully he does a lot of work in the Batman movie or in the future movies, like how Gary Oldman Jim Gordon got very involved.
Oh yeah, that Jim Gordon,
Which we mentioned in our last podcast about the better Batman movie.
Jim Gordon was the second main character in that trilogy, in
Yes.
the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Hands down, he progressed just as much as Batman did,
Right.
if not more so in certain areas.
Right, and I'm really interested to see what they do with Mira, to see what they do with the flashback scenes, not just for each of the other heroes, but for when the Mother Boxes came to Earth, to see what Apocalypse is like and Steppenwolf, whether or not there's a Green Lantern in it, if they're going to, how close they're going to be to the return of Superman. Henry Cavill did post on his Instagram the black Superman suit.
Imagine if it's Cyborg Superman that comes back.
That'd be ballsy.
That would be like, I would give them credit for having the balls, even if it doesn't pull off very well.
Yeah, no, that would be seriously fucking ballsy.
Yeah.
I would respect that move. They're not going to
Cyborg
do it.
Superman is a huge DC villain. Like
Huge.
It would make sense if it was Cyborg
not just
Superman.
Superman, but he like tried to do murder all the Green Lantern
Yeah,
Corps.
he's actually probably more of a Green Lantern villain than he ever was a Superman villain.
Yeah.
So that would be an awesome villain. Like that's how you really change things up is bringing essential villains that aren't really in the mainstream, like Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, and they
The Marvel movies have been doing that with their heroes.
right. They have Cyborg Superman on Supergirl, but he's nothing like the actual Cyborg Superman. Like he just calls himself that, and he's got cybernetic parts to him.
Right.
But that would be a seriously ballsy move. I would respect that. I
I'm
really
telling you,
would.
I should fucking reboot this franchise. I'll bring it back to its glory.
Just,
I will make DC.
give it to a kid who's never written a screenplay in his life.
Hey, I wrote the guy with the guy with one ass cheek.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, that's a
And
great
two
screenplay.
buttholes. Yeah.
And with two buttholes. And I'm telling you, I can do it, and I'm gonna make DC
Yeah.
great again.
Okay. I also did like them showing off Flash using his powers. Aside from just when we see him running from that building, the way that they have him in action shot of that, the trail of lightning he creates behind him. But even when like a parademon is firing a weapon at him, and we see like it's like makes it look like the frame is skipping, but it just shows how fast he's moving in within 5 feet. So I'm really interested to see what they do with the Flash. If they fuck up the Flash, man. I'm gonna
They're going to.
stop. Don't say that. I mean, well, to be fair, I mean we've been saying, the last 3 movies, whatever. Wonder Woman looks badass again, and I hope that because
She's looked awesome from the start.
yeah.
I actually don't mind her costume being as dark as it is.
No. Yeah, no, I don't.
I feel like where she comes from, that makes sense.
Right. But at least, the lasso of truth will glow.
Color.
Yeah. Because, the next DC movie is, before Justice League, is Wonder Woman. In July, mid-July, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's either right before or right after Spider-Man. I don't remember which. And I'm too lazy to look it up right now.
I mean, people are just going to Google it themselves anyway.
Yeah. There's not really much else to say unless you have other things to add.
No, I've pretty much said all I said. I'm ready to be hired, Warner Brothers. That's all I have to say.
He's ready and willing.
Yeah.
He'll work for cheap.
I'll work if you pay off my student loans and $100,000. I'll write a good DC movie for you. So that's cheap.
That is cheap compared to what they pay a screenwriter, but first time, dude.
For a first timer, that's not a big gamble, and it's just a script.
Yeah, still. Maybe for like 2 movies, I'll give that to you. But anyway, guys, what did you think of the trailer? Did you like it, hate it? What did you think were the best parts, the worst parts? Are you excited for Justice League given the 3 DCEU movies so far? Are you not? Are you slowly gaining hope, or do you want to not have hope and just see how it pans out? The Green Lantern ideas. Do you want to see Green Lantern in this? Which Green Lantern do you want to see? Do you like Connor's Albin Sur idea? Because that actually was a good idea. Connor had a good idea for once. Go figure.
I have nothing but good ideas. I thought of the name for the fucking show.
Yeah, just because you want it to be ass.
But that's funny. That's
no, it
great.
is funny. It is funny. You also came up with the chug a hot sauce challenge.
That was Nick Snyder or I don't know. I know it was my idea to put it on the show.
Okay. Whatever. Oh, you
Actually,
guys
I don't
should,
really remember, but we chugged hot sauce.
Yeah.
You should watch that video.
It's on our Facebook. What are your theories for Justice League? Justice League stuff. Are you excited for Wonder Woman? Coming out not too long ago. If you haven't tweeted us or commented on our Facebook, Instagram, website, or whatever about which you think is the best Batman movie, was our last topic, whether it was Batman 1989 or The Dark Knight, or if it's neither of those. We're talking live-action Batman movies here.
The only other answer
Let us
should be
know.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. No, I'm just kidding. Those are terrible. But again, thank you to Gamefly for sponsoring this episode. Remember, you get a free premium 30-day trial if you go to GameflyOffer.com/awesome. Again, that's GameflyOffer.com/awesome. And
don't forget, if you want to make your dog a happy little camper, go over to BarkBox and sign up for a subscription service. You can actually get a free 1-month subscription if you go to www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
you get a free month out of a 6 or 12-month subscription.
6 or 12
You get it
month
tacked
subscription.
on.
Yeah.
But what was that link again, Connor?
It's www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
Great. All right, take it easy, guys. Peace.